Governor Mike DeWine making it official today. Dr. Amy Acton has signed a stay-at-home order, and beginning this week, all Ohioans are being told to do just that, stay at home. Good evening, and thank you for joining us at NBC4 at 11. I'm Danielle Grossman. Now, that order will go into effect 11:59 Monday evening. As of right now, there are 351 confirmed cases in the state, along with 3 deaths. 45 of those cases are right here in Central Ohio. Columbus Mayor Andrew GINTHER sharing a similar message tonight. He talked with NBC4 over FaceTime. Now, he says it's important people do not panic, but make sure they follow the stay-at-home order.
This next period is absolutely critical for people to follow this order, stay at home, and only go out for those essential things.
The mayor says from what he's seen, most of Columbus has been complying with what state leaders have been ordering. Now, another topic Governor DeWine talked about today was the status of daycare, something you all have been asking about. Some are allowed to stay open, but there are new guidelines. President Trump is giving the green light to car companies to make ventilators. In a tweet, the president said Ford, General Motors, and Tesla are being given the go-ahead to make ventilators and other metal products. Now, Canada and Australia have become the first 2 countries to drop out of the Olympics unless the event's postponed. The International Olympic Committee is planning meetings with Japanese public authorities, global sports officials, broadcasters, and sponsors that deal with scenario planning for the Olympics. Tonight, the first U.S. Senator Rand Paul announced he tested positive for COVID-19. Cases of the virus continue to climb as more health officials sound the alarm about shortages of life-saving equipment and supplies. NBC's Jennifer Johnson has the latest from Washington.
With the number of cases of COVID-19 rising rapidly and 1 in 4 Americans sheltering at home, President Trump Sunday night announcing major steps to help struggling states. The president says millions of masks and other life-saving equipment is being sent out, and the 3 hardest hit states will get assistance from the National Guard.
I've also directed FEMA to supply the following: 4 large federal medical stations with 1,000 beds for New York, 8 large federal medical stations with 2,000 beds for California, and 3 large federal medical stations and 4 small federal medical stations with 1,000 beds for the state of Washington.
The president has also declared Washington state a disaster area along with New York. But the nation's top infectious disease doctor is warning the worst is yet to come.
We're going to get hit. There's no doubt about it. The things that we're seeing in this country, this physical separation, at the same time as we're preventing an influx of cases coming in, I think that's going to go a long way to preventing us from becoming an Italy.
The president also sending well wishes to Rand Paul, the first U.S. senator to test positive for COVID-19, as congressional leaders work into Sunday evening on a $1 trillion or more economic aid package for millions of Americans losing their jobs.
They're expecting us to do our part, and we fully intend to do that.
We need to get the money into the economy now. If we do that, we think we can stabilize the economy.
Americans looking to Washington to protect against this pandemic and help them survive economically. Jennifer Johnson, NBC News, Washington.
As of now, the U.S. Senate will not vote on a coronavirus stimulus bill. A cloture motion to proceed to voting on the bill failed in the Senate today, 47 to 47. 60 votes were needed to move forward. Now, following the vote, Majority Leader Mitch McConnell criticized Democrats for holding back the bill. Minority Leader Chuck Schumer had a different story.
I want everybody to fully understand, if we aren't able to act tomorrow, it'll be because of our colleagues on the other side continuing to dicker when the country expects us to come together and address this problem.
It includes a large corporate bailout with no protections for workers and virtually no oversight. Also very troubling in the bill were significant shortfalls of money that our hospitals, states, cities, and medical workers desperately needed.
Ohio senators are making their opinions of the CARE Act known, and they have strongly different viewpoints. Democrat Sherrod Brown speaking his mind on Twitter, saying Republicans had the chance to provide relief to workers and their families. Instead, they're doing what they did in 2008-2009, giving Wall Street a blank check with taxpayer money. He went on to say the Senate's plan should put cash in people's hands, expand tax credits for families, and halt evictions and foreclosures. Republican Senator Rob Portman in favor of the bill on Twitter. He wrote, "In the CARE Act directly helps U.S. families and workers, stabilizes the economy, provides relief for small businesses, and supports healthcare professionals." President Trump is giving the green light to car companies to make ventilators. In a tweet, the president said Ford, General Motors, and Tesla are being given the go-ahead to make ventilators and other metal products. The president's been under increased pressure to ramp up the production of ventilators. New York Mayor Bill de Blasio not mincing his words on Meet the Press this morning.
I have asked repeatedly for the military to be mobilized, for the Defense Production Act to be used to its fullest, to get us things like ventilators so people who can live who would die otherwise. Chuck, I can't be blunt enough. If the president doesn't act, people will die who could have lived otherwise.
1,000 confirmed cases in New York State, roughly 5% of the cases worldwide. Now, Italy reported another sharp increase in coronavirus deaths today. Another 651 deaths were recorded there as the pandemic spreads across Europe and the rest of the world.
65, maybe some storms to wrap up the week.
I love it.
It always seems to work that way.
I know, and we all want to get outside for just a little bit. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow starting at 4 a.m. and keep your social distance. Indeed. Have a good night.